following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Good evening, Litchfield. I guess that a lot of you in town have been hearing some fuss regarding the lady in town that does all the sewing. That would be me, I guess. I did all the costuming for the parade over Memorial Day, and I wanted to share some of the sewing machine magic with people. I posted a notice out on the Facebook page yesterday or the day before asking for names to use that we could call the show, and there have been some pretty cool responses. One is The More You Sew from Bonnie Spalding. Good job, Bonnie. Another one was So Special by Amy Zellers. That was pretty cool because everything I sew is pretty special. And the third contender is called In Stitches by Debbie Halverson. I like that one too. So the way the show hopefully will go is that I will have you as viewers offer me projects that I can do on the sewing machine while we're on the air, and you get to leave with a finished product, and that would just keep the show interesting and keep all of you involved, and I'm thrilled to be here, so let's talk about a sewing machine. This is your trusty Kenmore. The Kenmore sewing machine is probably the most basic sewing machine there is. It's what I've been running since I was 16 years old. I'm 65, so I guess it works well for me. And when you use a sewing machine, depending on the fabric and the project that you're doing, for instance, today I brought a pair of jeans that we were going to put a patch on the knee, and in that event, you want to match your thread type to the bulk and the thickness of the denim fabric, and you want to change your needle to accommodate whatever kind of fabric you have going on for your project. And they run regular needles that are called standard tip, go from size 7 to 11 to 14 to 16. The 16 being the biggest needle for the heaviest part of working on denim through the seams to do a nice hem. When you hem jeans, you want the hem to end up looking just like it did when you bought it. So that would be what you do with that. The machine itself, pretty much all machines have a dial here that tells you what size your stitches are, and you can go from tiny little close together stitches up to real big basting stitches. And these are a small variety on my machine anyway of various kinds of stitches and the ability to do buttonholes. I would like to know from all of you viewers what kind of projects you have in mind for me, and bear in mind that I would need a little bit of time to look at it and make sure that I have all the right stock to be able to accomplish your task. And what I want to do is set myself up. I don't want to set myself up for failure. So with that said, get in touch with either the show or with myself through my email address, and let's don't make a fuss about that. It is joanisingleagain@gmail.com. And gentlemen, thank you, I'm all set. The reason I'm doing this all is to help people that think they cannot sew, I can't do it, and maybe you can't, but maybe you can. And I want to spend some time on the show just doing basic mending, which is why I want you all to bring things in. I want you to feel comfortable and not intimidated by a machine. It's not a Rolls Royce. You can't kill it. It won't cost a fortune. And it's something you can pass on to your children, to your grandchildren. It would be fun to make doll clothes for the American Girl dolls that the kids are into. So, with that said, let's get right back in one moment. Hi, welcome back, everybody. What I'm going to do at this point, since working with a pair of jeans didn't pan out that well, I didn't bring the right pair of jeans with a hole in the knee. So instead, what we're going to do is work on this. I have a great feeling for ladies that are built like me, that are not quite proportioned like regular girls. So every time I buy a dress, it doesn't fit. And every time it doesn't fit, I bring it home and I take it all apart and I rebuild it. So this is one of those dress rebuilds. So let me thread the machine and I will show you what I'm doing. I'm also a big fan of dresses for ladies that either you wear a slip underneath or you wear a lining in your dress, because thing that comes to mind for me is always the Princess Diana before she married Charles, holding the child in the daycare center, and you could see right through her skirt. Oops, we don't really want that. That's considered a fashion faux pas. So what is happening is that this today is being turned into, I took the dress all apart, and this is the bottom of it. It's the whole skirt for a dress, and then I took apart the top that was the whole top to a dress. And I added a piece of fabric here because I wasn't built like the dress was. And this will get attached to this. So when you attach things, you put your right sides together. Pardon me for flipping fabric around everywhere here. And you line up your front of your skirt, which would be right there, with the front of your top, which is right there. And watch this. This will be so cool. What I'm going to do is stitch the two together. So you want to line up your seams when you're making things to a 5/8 inch seam is always the standard. Get myself on a number 3 stitch. Find my foot pedal. It's the long skinny one on the right. And you're just going to stitch all the way around. When I give sewing lessons to the kids, if you can hear me while this is running, I tell them to line their body up with the center of their sternum in front of the needle. That way you're not leaning this way or leaning this way to accomplish your seams. And your body ergonomics are lined up properly. Because it takes all the fun out of sewing when you hurt yourself trying to accomplish something. So, let me get all the way around here and I will show you a dress. I did the very same thing on the dress I have on tonight that I'm doing to this dress. It didn't fit right. And I really liked the colors and I really liked the fabric. And my daughter said, "Mom, that dress isn't your size. That won't fit you. That'll never work." Yes, it will. I will make it work. And I took it home and took it all apart and I wore it to some function at her house. She's like, "Isn't that the..." Yeah, it is. You always want to keep your fingers out of the way when you're sewing. That's very important. If you look closely at my fingers, my index fingers are messed up on both hands because I ran them over with the needle. When you do that, it takes a minute before it actually hurts. We're almost all the way around. Is this like watching paint dry? Almost done, I think. Anybody in town that is interested in sewing lessons, I give sewing lessons to adults, to kids, to anybody that's willing to learn. It's $10 an hour for lessons. I provide the sewing machine, the interfacings, the zippers, the buttons, all that sort of thing, and you provide the child the $10 an hour and whatever the child wants to make. And the idea is just like right now, I'm starting with little bits. The child gets to leave with a finished product. So, where I came in with something that was in pieces and parts, I will be leaving with a dress. How's that? So that was a quick and easy thing to do. And my point is that if you know how to sew and know some basics about sewing, you can buy anything you like in the store, and if it doesn't fit, it's really not a big deal. It can fit as long as it's not too tight. Things that are too big can always be taken in to fit comfortably, and things that are too tight, there's usually no fabric in the seams to work with to let anything out. Although gussets can be put in and extra pieces of fabric, and there's always a way. So thank you for watching, and we will get back to you in a few minutes. Hi, welcome back, everybody. I want to tell you what a thrill it is to have been here this evening and share some of my wisdom and knowledge, and I look forward to people bringing things in. We were just having a chat, the videographer and I, and decided that it would be fun to have a little contest and see which names for my business seem to be the most popular for the sewing show here. And at this point, the choices are The More You Sew, Sew Special, and In Stitches. If you'd like to vote on them, what I'm offering is a free sewing job up to a $20 value. So it might be an incentive to go through your closet and find things that need work, and get yourself a little piece of fame here with naming a TV show. And I would like to have people come on the show with their item so that they can you can tell a story over where you got the item, or you were on your honeymoon and you got these cool pair of shorts, but your wife told you not to do something stupid in them and you did it anyway, and now that you ripped them and they have to be fixed. So you can tell a great honeymoon story. And in the same time, I will show you a little something about sewing. I would encourage anybody to bring in shirts that are missing buttons. We get to sew on a button, and I get to show you how to sew on a button. And the whole thing will be quite fun. We're going to keep it very light and very humorous. So I want you all to have a great evening, and find your sewing machines and dust them off, and let's get going.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.